In 2012, Nintendo attempted to follow up the success of their most popular home console to date in the Wii. The successor needed to capture the hardware magic found with the original while also innovating in its own right. Also important, the Wii successor needed to increase the power and performance to the level of HD. Most importantly though, this Wii sequel needed to have several system-selling killer apps. Enter the Wii U. Now the Wii U more or less checked off all those boxes, yet at the end of the day it was a financial failure for Nintendo. 5 years later they released the Switch, which evolved many of the concepts introduced with the Wii U in a much more marketing friendly way. Just to get out of the way now, I don't think the Wii U is necessarily better than the Switch. I do believe that the Wii U was a great console failed by poor marketing that isn't necessarily indicative of its quality. I also believe that although the Switch is the superior console in many ways, there are several things the Wii U just did better, and that's what this video is all about. Let's start with the context of why the Wii U failed. With barely 13 million units sold, few of you watching have probably ever seen a Wii U, or let alone own one. There are a ton of quality videos out there that go into way more detail surrounding the Wii U's struggle to market, which I'll leave some of those down below in the description. But to put it simply, if you have the original Wii, in addition to the Wii Motion Plus extension accessory, the Wii Fit balance board, the Wii Wheel, and let's not forget the Wii Zapper, then the Wii U may not necessarily stand out to many consumers as an entirely new console, especially when you consider how similar they look, with the only noticeable difference being the gamepad. I remember at the time of its announcement, I was blown away with it checking off my biggest complaint that was omitted from the original Wii, and that was HD. But taking a step back, attaching itself to the success of the Wii may have ended up hurting it in the long run. I think something as simple as just changing up the plastic exterior and calling it the Wii 2 could have made a massive difference in sales, but that's kinda shoulda coulda woulda, right? If you were fortunate enough to get your hands on one, chances are you loved it due to all the things that it does do right. The Switch takes many of those concepts introduced by the Wii U to the next level, but not without compromise. One of the most important aspects of the gaming experience is the controller. And while the Switch has a lot of cool innovations and tech stuffed inside the Joy-Cons, the experience is definitely a cramped one. The Wii U's gamepad isn't the prettiest controller ever, being visually rather off-putting to most with its abundance of plastic and pure mass. But once you put it in your hands, it's easily way more comfortable than a set of Joy-Cons, and even some PlayStation and Xbox controllers. For starters, the buttons are way bigger, while the lip on the back serves as a great way to counter gravity, which is one of the main reasons why the Switch will tire your hands out a lot quicker. Holding a controller like this combats the pull of gravity a lot better than if you're holding a thin but thick piece of plastic just by the tops. The Joy-Cons are very much orientated towards the top, and so you definitely get a motion where you're fighting against gravity. Also included, the gamepad has a DS-like stylus for touchscreen functionality, which was hardly ever used, but still neat and occasionally useful. In the hands, the gamepad feels about as heavy as the Switch Lite to me, but is actually quite chunky, weighing in at about 495 grams, which is 58 grams heavier than the OLED model, 94 more than the launch model, and a whole 209 grams heavier than the Switch Lite, at least according to my kitchen scale. I would definitely take those specific numbers with a grain of salt, but the point I'm trying to make here is that although the Wii U gamepad is large, chunky, and even heavy, the experience of using it is smooth and comfortable, especially when you compare it to the Switch's Joy-Cons. As far as the feeling in your hands, I would probably rank the gamepad up there with some of Nintendo's best first-party controllers, with such as the GameCube. When it comes to controllers, many users opt to use the Pro Controller over Joy-Cons or some sort of third-party option when docked, which negates some of the points I'm making about comfort. However, the unique application of the secondary screen is not dismissed here. While most games opted to use the Wii U's gamepad as a mirrored display when not connected to the TV, kind of similar to the Switch's ability to dock, there were a handful of games that really explored the capabilities of the gamepad as a true secondary display. The best example of this was packaged with the Wii U in Nintendo Land, with several unique gameplay concepts that just can't be found anywhere else. Using the gamepad as a secondary display for only one user introduces a ton of fun multiplayer experiences. While grabbing some footage for this video, I forgot how much fun this game is. You should seriously pause this video and go find a friend to go play it right now. Oh, you're back. Okay, or maybe you never left. Either way, that takes me to the games of the Wii U. When it comes to the games, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Wii U has a better library over the Switch, but I do think the Wii U managed to have a very solid selection of quality first-party titles that deserve a shout-out for sure. Many of the best games on Switch today are either ports or sequels to games that came out on the Wii U, such as Super Mario 3D World, Mario Kart 8, Breath of the Wild, New Super Mario Bros. U, Mario Maker 2, Donkey Kong Country, Splatoon 2, and now 3. The list goes on. I think it's important to take into consideration the Switch's top-selling game today is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is the same exact game as the original, just with the expansions and a few new characters added. The Switch has been out for almost 5 years now, which is around the same time the Wii U's tombstone was being erected into the ground during its lifetime. During these last 5 years, the Switch has had significantly better third-party support, which has helped a ton too. As far as graphics go, the Switch is definitely the more powerful piece of tech, but most games look very similar with a few resolution bumps here and there. Take a look for yourself. One thing that does help fill out the Wii U's catalog of games is backwards compatibility. Just about all Wii games can be played on the Wii U, which is debatably a better approach to playing last-gen games versus a full-price port. The Nintendo Switch probably has one of the best game libraries to date, with it only growing as we speak, but it's important to note how many of these successes lead back to the Wii U. Next, let's talk about online. I think one of the main reasons why a lot of gamers still hold on to their Wii U's as well as PlayStation 3's is the free online. Back in 2012, before every company had to have their own subscription service for just about everything, it was nice to play games with your friends online free of charge. As a whole, online gaming today is as smooth and seamless as ever, but Nintendo in particular struggles to offer a quality online experience comparable to that of the competition, which has me saying to myself, sure, the Wii U's internet capabilities are subpar at best, but at least it's free. This also leads me to the lack of the ability to purchase old games on the eShop. Instead, you are given the option to play a few dozen NES and Super NES titles as long as you continue to pay for your online subscription. Now, if you want to play some N64 games that are well over 20 years old, you're going to have to pay extra for that, which has me dreading the day they've announced the price of GameCube games. The Wii U had the Virtual Console, which included NES, Super NES, N64, GBA, and DS games. With a relatively fair one-time price, you owned the title of your choosing, which sounds like a better option to me. I know Nintendo's current subscription model is a much more profitable one, but it would have been nice to at least see the option to purchase specific titles, I'm just saying. Like most consoles, I didn't end up getting a Switch until well over a year after it had come out, because I was selfishly still salty they had ended the Wii U's run so early. Once I did get my hands on one, I thought it was super cool, but was kinda disappointed by the bare bones UI. While I personally use my Switch 99% of the time for games, a little flavor to spice up the vanilla look would have been nice. As cool as dark mode is, there's just something really charming about the Wii and the Wii U's channel-themed interface. I mean, come on Nintendo, at least let us add folders and backgrounds or something. The Wii U felt more like an experience that encouraged you to look around and explore with a ton of entertaining and useful apps. Well, mostly just entertaining, but still. I miss having things like the daily log to look back on my play habits or Miiverse. You just don't find apps like that pre-installed on the Switch. The Switch gets you to your destination of playing games quickly with no fluff, but I personally preferred the process of getting to my game on the Wii U. At the end of the day, Switch is king. With a massive library of old, new, and third-party games mixed with a versatile form factor that was marketed in a way that consumers can understand, There really isn't anything holding back the Switch from being one of the best-selling consoles ever. Being what it is, there are plenty of compromises made when it comes to the Switch, like the comparative lack of power, somewhat uncomfortable controls, and the bare-bones UI. But even with these compromises, the Switch excels at knowing what it is, versus the Wii U's indecisiveness to find its own identity. Most consumers will remember the Wii U as the expensive gamepad accessory to their already owned Wii, while history will most likely view it as a prototype for what was to come. I really enjoyed my time with the Wii U while having no regrets about buying it. While the Switch was able to succeed where the Wii U failed, I think it's important to appreciate many of the innovations pushed forward by this console. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. I'm sure many of you come from a similar position or maybe a different one. Either way, I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, see ya!